What are like common ethical dilemmas that providers should be looking out for? Hopefully any kind of common dilemmas that can kind of help paint the picture a little bit of like, hey, when things are a little murky, at least, maybe there's some kind of reference point that I can look at and say that like, well, in that kind of situation you do this, or in that kind of ethical dilemma you would do this. So, maybe that helps.
At some point, for any child whose parents were not married or widowed, essentially, we were requiring parents to submit the actual custody paperwork.
Right.
And so they would submit the custody paperwork, and then we would require separate consents for treatment from both parents before even beginning. Now, personally, I think that went too far, and it became a barrier to care. And, in our field, we can sort of use judgment on, okay, is this a case where we should really get both parents to sign consents because we're worried about how things are going to turn out? Or, do we just make it clear that a condition for treatment in cases of divorce or separation is that really both parents need to participate? And we're not going to provide care otherwise, because if parents don't agree on care and treatment, the treatment has very little chance of success. And you can imagine this, Parker, that, if there's a 10-year-old and one parent is very pro mental health treatment, wants them to be involved with going to therapy, and then it's especially complicated if medications are involved, and then the other person really doesn't believe in mental health treatment, kids don't want to disappoint either parent. And
right.
If that other parent that doesn't agree in mental health treatment is in that kid's ear, saying whatever about the mental health treatment, it's going to sabotage the treatment. The kid's going to stay aligned with that other parent. And then, of course, you can imagine if there's medications involved, the parent who doesn't believe in mental health treatment is just not going to give them. And right. Then you're definitely in a situation where it could even be a more harm than good. So, in those cases, and actually as I've over the years, you sort of, I don't know if it's healthy or not, but I really like the most challenging, difficult cases possible. And some of these are around educating, informing, and talking to the parents who don't believe in mental health treatment, and seeing if we can get them to buy into the care for their kid and building a good relationship with them. That's where the work goes to. If you see a kid that could benefit from help and there's only one parent on board, you start meeting with the parent that isn't on board, or the parents together, and see if you can reach a state where they see the potential benefit. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know if I can quote the success rate there.
What's the approach? Like, what's the strategy when initiating that conversation?
As a therapist and clinician, it's a sit down, be a good listener, and figure out where's the resistance or desire not to have mental health treatment for the kid coming from. I would say more often than not, it's because of a direct experience when that parent was maybe a kid and they felt like, quote, some treatment was forced on them, or, they were prescribed a medication that they didn't agree with and made them feel bad. And in those parents' defenses, it is something I can always empathize with, that there are a lot of parents who experience bad mental health care growing up, and especially parents who grew up 70s, 80s, 90s, where right. We've advanced a lot more today than back then. So empathizing with that, and that sounds awful. And here we always talk with kids, no matter what their age, about what treatment you're going to do, or, if you took a pill, right? And that it's a very different approach to feeling like something's forced on them. The other reason is, they've seen someone or another, they've seen it's usually some sort of other experience with psychiatric treatment causing a lot of problems. I think it's less these days about the kid being labeled with any type of psychiatric diagnosis or going into a clinic, but that's probably still present as well. So can you be a good listener, understand those reasons, educate on what's happening, talk about, hey, there's no secrets here, everything's consented, we're going to answer questions. That's how you can turn some some people around coming into the to bring their kid into treatment.